She's usually 2 years.
Does she? You're probably right.
Well, we usually have,
we're minus 2 captains, so we're in good shape.
yeah, that's it.
Nobody, no Pete.
Yeah, there should be enough. If I need, I don't know, I have a chair
Okay.
right over there.
All right.
She can sit in the, if she wants to sit in the front row, wherever she wants. It's okay.
Alderman Long.
Long? All right, good morning, everybody. We're going to get started here. Welcome. Thank you for coming. My name is Sergeant Derek Cataldo. I'm the training director for the department. I'll be the MC today for the ceremony. On behalf of the chief and the Manchester PD, I'd like to welcome everybody. Today we're going to be doing a swearing in, or excuse me, not a swearing in, a promotion and award ceremony. We have one sergeant promotion, several life-saving awards, and a Chief's Achievement Medal to present. We're going to start today. I'll ask everyone to rise and we'll conduct the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Have your seats. We're going to start off today by introducing our Mpd Command Staff and some dignitaries from the city that are here. To my left, of course, is Mayor Joyce Craig. Next to her is our Chief of Police, Chief Fal Aldenberg. Next to him is Assistant Chief Stephen Mangone. Next to him is Captain Sean Layton, commander of our investigative division. In the back row to the left is Captain Sean McCabe. He's the commander of our patrol division. Next to him is Captain Brandon Murphy. He's the commander of our special enforcement division. And to his left is Captain Ken Louie, commander of our professional standards and legal division. Also here today is Alderman Long. We'd like to thank you for joining us, sir. I'm going to invite Mayor Craig up to the podium to give a few comments.
No need. Thank you. It's such a pleasure to be here with all of you this morning to recognize the efforts of the Manchester Police Department. I want to extend my congratulations to Sergeant Brian Fleming for your promotion and to all of the other officers who are receiving awards this morning. Thank you for your dedication, your service, and your hard work to the city of Manchester. You are certainly making a difference in the lives of so many. I also want to congratulate Officer David Swinson on being named the recipient of Chief Aldenberg's Achievement Medal. As a member of the Manchester Police Department for the last 9 years, Officer Swinson has been a leader in developing the medical training at the police department, which has allowed our officers to provide life-saving care when necessary. I want to thank all of you who are here today. It's not often that I get an opportunity to be with all of you, but as I said earlier, your efforts on behalf of the City of Manchester are making a significant difference in making our community better, and I can't thank you all enough. We're proud of all of you and just want to thank you for all of your efforts. Have a great day.
Thank you, Mayor. Just going to invite the chief up to say a couple words.
I'll be brief. Good morning, everyone. Friends and family, Mayor Alderman Long, appreciate you being here as well. And to Brian, in particular, Brian's family, I'm sure you're very proud of Brian being promoted. Looking forward to him doing great things. So we appreciate you being here. It's no secret that the last month or so has been, the last 6 months has been a lot of ups and downs for the Manchester Police Department. There's no secret that there's a lot going on in the city. And every day the men and women of this police department come in my opinion, undoubtedly, day in and day out, do the right thing every day. And the public doesn't get to see that. And I get a little emotional about it because, yeah, I am the chief, but these are my people. And I take that very serious. the men and women that are gonna get recognized today with awards and promotions. Public needs to understand that how much the people of this police department, sworn and non-sworn, dedicate to this city every day that never gets noticed. And that needs to be the message that I want to get out there. You know, people are easily critical of law enforcement, right? Because that's the easy thing to do. And we come up here and put the uniform on every day and fight that silent battle, or sometimes very vocal battle, about people being critical of what we do. Because it's easy to pick on the biggest city and biggest department in the state, right? Because we have the most going on. And we're proud of that. We're proud of how much we have going on and how much we do and how we do it. So I'm grateful to be the chief of this police department. I'm grateful to work with a very talented command staff that are extremely dedicated to leading their divisions and their people. But at the end of the day, it's the officers that are here today. It's all the cops that like to stand up and don't sit down in the back of the room, who come in and grind every day on behalf of those that they work with and those that they serve. So I'm grateful and I'm appreciative of all of you. I'm thankful to families and friends that kind of, you know, get the fallout sometimes when things go bad here, or we have a critical incident and things aren't going well. That have to kind of cope with that at home and keep things together. So I'm thankful to you. I'm appreciative. Brian, you're going to do well. All right, don't lose sight of your sole responsibility, and that's the health and welfare of the people that you supervise and the people that you lead. If you lose sight of that, I can guarantee you will fail, but you are not going to fail because you will not lose sight of that. All right, so come in every day, every night on the miserable midnight shift, all right, with the band of brothers and girls on the midnight, all right, and lead them and take care of them. That's all I ask. All right, everything else will fall into place. All right, Derek, would you go? All right, all yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. So we're going to get into the awards now. First, we're going to do all our life-saving awards. They're broken down into 3 separate incidents, so it'll be 3 groups of officers. The first one is going to be an incident that occurred at Jewel nightclub mid last year. So I want to invite Officer Esposito, Officer Brian Fabian, and Detective Lisboa up to the front. Let's stand in front of that. Officer Brendan Newell is also involved in this, and he's going to be receiving a life-saving award, but he's away on a family trip, so he couldn't be here today. On November 1st, 2021, midnight shift officers responded to Jewel nightclub, referencing an individual who had been stabbed numerous times. Upon their arrival, with the location of the suspect still unknown, officers immediately began attending to the victim, rendering life-saving measures. Prior to EMS arrival on scene, Officer Esposito, Fabian, and Lisboa collectively applied approximately 8 chest seals to the victim's torso. Officer Newell applied a tourniquet to the victim's limb. The midnight shift supervisor who was on scene witnessed this firsthand. Witnessed the officers did not hesitate to begin providing medical aid immediately, even as the location of the suspect was unknown. They worked as a team, utilizing their training to locate numerous stab wounds. It was later determined through medical records that the victim was hospitalized for an extended period of time and that his injuries were in fact life-threatening. The Manchester Police Department Life-Saving Award is being presented to Officer Joseph Esposito, Officer Brian Fabian, Officer David Lisboa, and Officer Brendan Newell, whose prompt and alert actions significantly contributed to the survival of the victim in this case. Thank you, fellas. Excellent work. Our next incident is going to be one that occurred on the Byron Bridge earlier this year. I'm going to ask Officer Christian Horn and Officer Jeffrey Bauer to come up to the front. On March 8th, 2022, at approximately noon, Officer Christian Horn and Officer Jeffrey Barr responded to the Byron Bridge on Kelly Street, where a passing motorist was attempting to talk with a distraught male who was hanging on the outside of the guardrail of the bridge. When the officers arrived, they located the male, who was distraught and clearly intoxicated, standing on the wrong side of the guardrail. Officers attempted to convince the despondent individual to come back over the guardrail for several minutes with no success. The man soon began to make extremely negative statements and mentioned that he was about to jump from the bridge. When the individual made a movement indicating he may jump imminently, Officer Horn and Bauer quickly moved towards him with complete disregard for their own safety and took hold of the male, who was still on the opposite side of the guardrail. After a brief struggle, Officer Horn and Bauer managed to pull him over the guardrail and back onto solid ground. The officers quickly secured him, arranging for immediate mental health evaluation and treatment at a local hospital. Without this courageous act by Officer Horn and Bauer, the outcome may have been tragically different. The Manchester Police Department Life-Saving Medal is presented to Officer Bauer and Officer Horn, who both used sound judgment, acted heroically, risking their own safety to rescue the subject, who most certainly would have been seriously injured or killed if they had not intervened. Thank you guys, excellent work. Our next and last life-saving medal today is going to be from an incident that occurred on Chestnut Street earlier this year. Officer Samuel Casson and Officer David Swinson, please come on up. I think Casson may be working day shift, that's probably why he's not here. On June 4th, 2022, approximately 1 o'clock, Officer David Swinson and Officer Samuel Casson were dispatched to the area of 149 Hanover Street regarding a complaint of a male subject who used a local business owner's bathroom. Officer Swinson and Casson located the male in front of 416 Chestnut Street. When they began questioning him, he became unresponsive and appeared to stop breathing. They advised dispatch that an ambulance was needed and began treating the male. It was noted that his lips were turning blue and his face was becoming pale in color. Officer Swinson quickly went and retrieved a bag valve from his police vehicle. He made another evaluation and determined the male was not breathing and had a very faint pulse. Officer Swinson applied the bag valve to the face of the male and soon after instructed Officer Casson to begin CPR. Officer Casson performed 30 chest compressions and Officer Swinson delivered oxygen to the male. Officer Casson performed another 30 chest compressions and the male began coughing. During the second set of chest compressions, a bystander provided a container of Narcan to Officer Swinson, which was immediately administered. Officer Swinson and Casson continued to supply oxygen to the male and chest compressions and a second dose of Narcan until AMR arrived. The male became more coherent and eventually survived this incident, which turned out to be an overdose. The Manchester Police Department Life-Saving Medal is presented to Officer Caston and Officer Swinson for their prompt and alert actions, which significantly contributed to the victim's survival in this incident.
We'll talk about that mustache later. I apologize to the families.
Officer Swinson is also receiving a Chief's Achievement Medal today, and if you listen to the gist of this Chief's Achievement Medal, you can see that a lot of these officers who receive life-saving awards applied things that they directly learned from Officer Swinson's training. So it's kind of rare we get a direct correlation between training and people basically saving lives, but you'll see as I read this that Officer Swinson is a big part of that. So Officer David Swinson has been a patrol officer with MPD for approximately 9 years. He serves as a field training officer, firearms instructor, and a medic for our SWAT team. Officer Swinson is also an active member of the U.S. Army Reserves and assigned to Charlie Company of the 120th Special Forces Group. He is what is commonly referred to as a Green Beret and is a qualified Special Forces medic. In 2020, Officer Swinson used his extensive expertise he acquired as a Special Forces medic to design a curriculum for an in-house medical training tailored to police work. This two-day course became known as TAC-MED, short for Tactical Medical Training, and focused on trauma medicine and tactical considerations while treating victims. The course was soon adopted by the MPD training unit, and all newly hired MPD officers were required to attend this two-day course starting in mid-2020. Due to its success and popularity, TAC-MED was offered department-wide as an in-house class in early 2021. The department administration then approved a full 8-hour TACMED class to be included in the 2022 annual in-service training curriculum, which every single Manchester officer is required to attend. Since its conception in mid-2020 to the end of 2021, the TACMED course has provided to over 75 Manchester police officers as well as other officers from around New Hampshire. As of today, over 100 additional MPD officers have taken the 8-hour version in the 2020 course alone. By the end of 2022, as I said, every single Manchester police officer will have taken the 8-hour TACMED training block. By creating and implementing this course, Officer Swinson has significantly enhanced the medical capabilities of our department. His initiative in designing this and instructing the course was done in addition to his primary duties as a patrol officer and SWAT team member. As a result of his efforts, Manchester officers and other law enforcement professionals around New Hampshire has received hundreds of hours of quality advanced medical training. Exposure to this training ensures these officers are prepared to provide life-saving treatment to any trauma victim they may encounter. Based on this outstanding duty performance, conceiving, designing, and implementing this course, Officer David Swinson is being awarded the Manchester Police Department's Chief's Achievements Medal. Excellent work to all our award recipients today, and congratulations again. All right, we're going to introduce you now to our newest Manchester Police Department Supervisor, Sergeant Brian Fleming. Sergeant Brian Fleming grew up in Candy, New Hampshire, and is a graduate of Manchester Central High School, class of 2000. He earned a Bachelor of Arts degree in Sociology from UNH in 2004 and a Master of Science degree in Leadership from Granite State College in 2020. Brian is a graduate of the 140th New Hampshire Police Academy and began his law enforcement career in 2006 with the Epsom Police Department. He was then hired by the Bedford Police Department in 2009 and joined us here in Manchester in 2014. During his time at Manchester PD, Brian was worked as a patrol officer, a field training officer, juvenile school resource officer, juvenile investigator, chase investigator, and a most recent position in the detective unit. Brian is currently the president of our Manchester Police Relief Association and formerly an assistant mentor for our Explorer program. Brian was named Officer of the Month in 2021 for his exceptional work on a homicide case at Victory Park, which he is still working on as of yesterday. Right, Brian? Yep. As a sergeant, Brian will be serving as a patrol street supervisor. I'd like to welcome Brian's wife, Lindsay, and their children, Emmett and Clara. The Chief will now administer the affirmation oath to Sergeant Fleming.
You solemnly swear that you will faithfully and impartially enforce and uphold the Constitution of the United States, the laws of the state of New Hampshire, and the code of ordinances for the city of Manchester. That you will never act officiously or commit personal feelings, political beliefs, aspirations, animosities, friendships, and influence your decisions. That you recognize the badge of your office as a symbol of public faith. That you will accept it as public trust and be held as long as you are true to the ethics of police service and perform all duties incumbent upon you as a police sergeant for the city of Manchester. So help you God. Congratulations.
Sergeant Fleming will now be pinned by his children, Clara and Emmett.
Did they practice?
We told them this morning.
Good job. Congratulations, Sergeant Fleming. Okay, in closing, I'd like to again congratulate Sergeant Fleming on his promotion, all our award recipients today on a job very well done. And thank you everyone for attending. The support, like the Chief said, is very, very much appreciated. You're welcome to come forward, take pictures in front of the backdrop. We'll leave it up for the rest of the day here. And again, thank you for coming.